The Agriculture Sector Council has been around for almost 30 years. And over that time, we've seen a lot of changes in agriculture here on the island. The amount of diversity of jobs continues to grow. 1 in 8 jobs in Canada are in agriculture in the agri-food system. And we are seeing such diversity as far as careers where in the past it was more traditional farming, and now it's everything from farming to banking to teachers, agri-science, crop specialists, management roles, safety roles. As we continue to grow and become stronger in agriculture, our careers continue to grow and change and diversify with that. So we are fortunate enough that we post our own jobs, which our farmers truly appreciate, because coming from a farming background, it's pretty easy to pick up the phone in the tractor, which we all do, and call in and say, here's my job ad, here's what I'm looking for, do you know anybody in the area that's looking? And we have that personal connection with our farmers, and we're able to help them and say, well, I know so-and-so is looking for a job, or this person has these skills that you're looking for. So it's very successful. Our farmers love the fact that they have a person that's actually talking to them and helping them walk through the ads. Sometimes it's very difficult to put your words together as far as what you want your ad to look like. So we have an employment officer that helps you put your ad together, helps you with what the wages should be in that job role and the job description. And then we have on that as well, so we have our employers calling in and posting the jobs, but then we have everybody that's looking for the job. And then everyone that's an employee will get the notification of what the job is. And we also then turn around and post that on our Facebook and our Twitter, and then we get tweets from there of this job is now available in this area. So it's been very effective. But I think in agriculture, you still constantly need that personal interaction. It makes us stronger. And again, farmers are short on time all the time. And we do a lot of our stuff inside the tractor or truck driving someplace. So I was fortunate enough to grow up on a farm here on the island. My parents raised purebred Angus cattle and swine for many years. My dad decided to quit Canada Packers in 1971 when I was born and come home and farm full-time. And my mom was working at an office at that time and said, I'm going home to farm as well. So we've been very fortunate to be raised on the farm and very grounded to be raised on the farm. And those skills you're able to transfer into any job that you ever take your whole life. And it was interesting because I was in my 30s and I was presenting at one of my jobs. So I've worked everything from education to business to management. And I was back in education at that time. And I had been asked to do a presentation at Nova Scotia Community College. And the professor said to me, what are you passionate about? And I'm like, wow, I'm in my 30s and no one has ever asked me what I'm passionate about. And I had to really stop and think about whether I liked my job, what I wanted to do every day, what made me get out of bed every day, and what made me feel good at the end of the day. And as I walked into that classroom, not really knowing what I was going to speak about, the first thing that I thought of was, I haven't changed much from that kid on the farm. And every job that I've always done, I always come back to talking about agriculture. And it took me somebody asking me that question, what's your passion, to go, I'm in the wrong spot. So I was in Nova Scotia, 2014, I applied for the ED's job here, and it encompassed everything. It encompassed my education, it encompassed my management skills and my finance skills. And I said it was the first job that I've ever had in my whole career as I'm approaching the 40s that gave me everything. It answered that question, what I was passionate about. So I feel very lucky to have finally found that and to be able to come home and be able to, work here all day and go home and work on the family farm during the evenings. And I'm glad that I've had that opportunity because it's also taught my children to stop and think about what they want their career choices to be. And both of my kids love being on the farm. They both are involved in agriculture, and hopefully that works into a career for them down the road, because there is so many careers in agriculture.
I have been blessed to grow up on a family farm. My farm, actually, Fountain Farm Inc., my dad has been involved with agriculture all his life. My dad took over the farm, and what's special about that too is that my dad started with plowing fields with horses. Horses were a major part of what Dad did at that time, and now we've come in full circle. Dad's still farming, but he's actually raising standardbred horses, where they're racing on the island and Canada and the United States at this time. So it's pretty special to see kind of a full circle. Astronomical Spirit was one of the first horses that Dad raised, and I'm so lucky to have him in my life at this time after his racing career. I must mention too, my two sisters are involved in agriculture in ways that they're not necessarily farming, but they're still involved. My sister Nancy Balderston is at Greenfield Elementary, and she teaches grade 3, and she is always doing things with the kids. She's involved in all our programs with AITC. The kids just love adventure days for the month of March in the Canadian Agriculture Literacy Month. She's involved in the Tasty Taters, the Light Garden. So her kids, and they love seeing the horses. Nancy shares all our horses, the foals, the mares, the yearlings. So the kids just love being a part of our farm. My youngest sister, Lori Balderston, she began her university career at the Nova Scotia Agricultural College, and actually finished graduating in the first Dalhousie Faculty of Agriculture class. And she is using her research skills now in her current position here on the island. So we feel like we're a part of agriculture right to the bone. So my educational background has kind of been like a multi-disciplinary approach. I started in agriculture in the sense that I've grown up in a farm, and it just has given me so many life skills that I would never have otherwise. I've always been a person who wants to help people. And so my path took me on the path of education and counseling. So I have my master's in education and counseling, and I do other works in holistic health at this time. But the wonderful thing is that agriculture has always grabbed my heart. And so 5 years ago, I started working with, at that time, the Agriculture Sector Council of PEI, and it has blossomed into working with AITC PEI. And the work that we were doing is so instrumental in sharing the importance of agriculture, where our food comes from, and why people need to be involved in agriculture if we're going to be able to produce the food that we need to by 2050, for instance, where we'll need 60% more food grown and distributed in order to feed the world's population. Now I am working with Gen Ag, and I get to work with high school students and their teachers, sharing all about agriculture and the importance of why we need young people interested in considering careers in agriculture. The Gen Ag program is an amazing program. I just get goosebumps just thinking about it because of the effects that it has on the students. The teachers are so amazed at how Gen Ag really does get the students lit up. They want to share with their peers careers in agriculture once they find out more about why agriculture is so important. Now, the Gen Ag is an innovative program where the students become marketing companies, and they are the ones that are charged with inspiring their peers at the school level to consider careers in agriculture. They receive a budget of $500 to implement their marketing plans. and they're working together in order to touch as many of their friends, their peers, their schoolmates, and their community. The students become so inspired themselves to share the message how important it is to consider careers in agriculture that they come up with these amazing creative ideas that we as adults may not come up with. You know, we kind of have our own messages, but it really needs to come from youth in order to inspire youth. And that is the importance of the Gen Ag program. The teachers are always amazed at how engaged the students are. They can't believe that they can be that inspired, that changed. We actually have students that have said that Gen Ag program has changed their life. It changed their career path totally, and now they are working in agriculture and they are loving it. So it's a pretty special project. This is the first year that we are actually in the schools in both semesters, and the kids are so inspiring to me. I just get so excited to see what they come up with their end project. It always blows me away. And what's amazing is that students that you would think that they may not be as interested, by the end, they're the ones that are doing the most. You know, they're something has changed within them, and it's just so special to see. I just feel very fortunate to be a part of the Gen Ag program and working with Agriculture in the Classroom PEI. And this boy is just special to my heart, so I'm very thankful he's happy to be here with me today.
I'm basically from a farming background. Back in India, we used to grow rice, sugarcane, peanuts, and other vegetables. We also had some cows. Even though we lived in the city, any vacation or summer break, we always went back to our village to tend to the farm. So those were the best memories. When we moved to PEI and I got an opportunity to teach agri-science, most of the students who come to our school are all city-based, and they have not had many opportunities to be on the farm or to have that exposure. So when we have any kind of class activities or hands-on activities, we get an opportunity to go on a field trip or have a guest lecture and talk about the different job opportunities. They are really interested in that. Any kind of activities, they come and participate. We have a small grow room. We grow indoor plants like herbs, and one term we grow herbs, and the other term we grow plants like beans and sunflower and tomatoes. At the end of the semester, end of the project, they take these home, and they're very, very happy. They have their little home garden, and that creates more interest. Yeah, we have participated in Gen Ag for the last 3 years, I would say. It gives the students an opportunity to learn more about the agri-sector jobs and all the different options, post-secondary options available for them. They also, not only do they learn about it, they get the opportunity to promote these kind of agri-sector jobs to their peers in other classes. So we make our students do class presentations. They come up with innovative ideas to have their peers engaged in conversations. So one of those ideas was to have a farm day in our school. So that was the first time we had animals come into our school. So we had some pigs, chickens, ducks, a calf. So the students from other classes, they all came down. That was the opportunity where our Gen Ag students were allowed to make a poster presentation to talk about the different jobs connected to those animals. So that gave them the opportunity to start a conversation, get the students interested in it. The students really liked that opportunity to hold an animal, and in fact for many students that was the first time they ever hold an animal. So that was really good. That was really interesting, and the interest that created more interest. My class size increased, and they introduced more subjects related to agriculture, which was nice. Many students, what I find is they think jobs, agri-sector jobs are all on the farm, but that's not true. There are so many jobs in the farm and outside the farm. They are all well-paying jobs. There are lots of summer student internships, well-paid summer jobs. They have the opportunity, they get the opportunity to work in that field and see if they really like it, and they can pursue career options in the agri sector. So plenty of options. Not many students are aware of it. We know that 1 in 8 jobs are available in the agri sector, well-paid jobs. PEI, the major industries are agriculture, fisheries, and bioscience is picking up right now. We have to do a better job promoting them. Various ways. One could be the social media project, which we did last year in our Gen Ag competition. Because of the COVID, because of the pandemic, we couldn't do face-to-face activities, but that changed into a social media project where students created Facebook page, Instagram, and they promoted the agri-sector jobs. They posted some pictures, community involvement, and they had some quiz, and they gave gift cards as prizes. And in fact, that involved students from other high schools, not just Takana Gray, but the other high schools and students from other parts of the country. So they were able to involve the other students as well. So we have to do a better job promoting them. I'm a math and science teacher at Colonel Gray. I have a postgraduate in physics, and I've taught different subjects in different schools in the island. They had an opening to teach agri-science, and they asked me if I want to do it, and I said yes. And now I'm liking it so much, and I don't want to go back to other subjects anymore. So this is my specialty now.
So I grew up in Central East Africa, in Rwanda. So it's a country where it's ideal for agriculture because we can grow the crops all year round. So when I was growing up, I was surrounded by crops. It does really remind me like PI because agriculture is an economically important activity. So even in the city, you are going to see a crop. Even in the city, we see in the backyard, we see trees of avocado or mango trees. So then when I was doing my high school, I was very much interested in the sciences. But I wanted my sciences to be linked to something practical. So that's why I took agricultural sciences. And then between a bachelor degree, master degree, and a PhD degree, and I landed in PEI because I got a job here with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. This time, the world population is growing very, very quickly. So we will need food to feed all that population. And the land is not going to increase. We need to manage it very, very carefully. And I think it's important because we all rely on agriculture and agri-food based product on everyday life. I think we need to be to inform them about the opportunities that are there. In terms of the jobs that are there, it's 1 in 8 jobs in agriculture area. So it's almost 12% of the jobs that are available. And when you are studying agricultural related sciences, really you can relate it to something important. It's like it's a professional degree, like a health science or any other science. So you don't feel like you are studying sciences just for nothing. You can relate that to something that is very practical. We, in our mandate, we also have to train the new generation. So students would come in summer. We can have around 40 summer students with us, but we also have graduate students. And actually, most of our summer students, they stay and they do a master's degree or a PhD degree with us. So it's a good opportunity, and the pay is good too. It's very interesting. One thing maybe I never thought about, it's a funny story. Like my mom used to say, why should you go so far to learn how to farm a land? So one thing I actually learned is complex. So you have to listen to other people. They are different expertise. And if you are in soil science, we need some person in plant science, in soil microbiology. So it's very complex. It's more than what we think. It's not just to crop the land. There are so many factors to consider, and the farmer's expertise is also needed. So everyone involved in agriculture, we are all complementary. Yeah, the Living Lab initiative is a new approach of conducting research in agriculture. So we work very, very closely with our stakeholders. So the stakeholders and the scientists are involved from the beginning, from the conception of a research project and during the implementation. So if we have to identify the research gaps faced by agriculture in PEI, we did sit together with our stakeholders, and then we discussed about potential solution, potential agricultural practices we needed to test for our environment here. And then after one growing season, we sit again together and we evaluate how the growing season did go, and then we make adjustment if needed. So you have involvement of scientists, ONGs, growers, and PI Department of Agriculture. It's really a good way to integrate everyone's knowledge. I would say that go for it, to do a little bit of homework, because there are many areas. Some people, they think about agriculture is to get dirty and that's it. It does not limit there. There are many areas that they can explore, and as I said before, the jobs are available and it's a very rewarding job.
My name is Carly McLeod and I'm 20 years old. I'm from Kincora, Prince Edward Island. I've grown up and surrounded by agriculture my whole life, but I didn't actually grow up on a farm. I'm a third-year business student at UPEI, so I work for East Prince Agri-Environment Association. So what that group is, it's a group of 15 farmers in my community that are working together with researchers to conduct innovative research projects to improve their farming practices and to benefit the environment. So when I was in high school, Ag in the Field started off as just a high school Gen Ag project, but lately it has become something a lot more. The Gen Ag project has greatly impacted my life and my career path. Before I did the project, I never imagined that a career in agriculture was even an opportunity for me, because I wasn't a farmer and I didn't live on a farm. But it has become something much more than that. The project really showed me what my passions were and kind of the path that I am interested in and excel at. So when we did our high school Gen Ag project, I was planning on going to study health sciences because I wanted to work in the healthcare field. And after what we did for our project is we went around and we interviewed people who work in agriculture and work in the ag industry, and the careers in marketing and communications and like people who do the marketing at the Potato Board or ADL, like that was something that really interested me, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And Gen Ag gave me a chance to kind of explore different career paths where I hadn't explored before. After that, I got a job with Farm Food Care PEI for the summer. It kind of just fell into my lap, and from then on, that's what I knew I wanted to do. So I switched into business, and it was by far the best decision that I ever made. Well, I always like to say yes to opportunities, because every time I've said yes, nothing bad has come out of it. So by me trusting my gut and just kind of giving it a chance, it allowed me to find where I want to be and what I want to study and where I want to work. So I encourage all young people and students to have an open mind, participate in ag opportunities, and say yes. So Jillian and I started Ag in the Field again, and we use it as a platform to showcase to students where their food's coming from, who produces it and the opportunities that agriculture has to offer. And like for me, the biggest surprise that I found with the Gen Ag project was that the opportunities in agriculture are endless. There's something for everybody. Like, a lot of people assume that agriculture is just a farmer, or you have to work on a farm or be a farmer, and that's it. But there's so much more behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. So by saying yes to these opportunities and participating in these projects or going and asking questions, you learn more about the opportunities in agriculture. I would tell young people to, like, a lot of people don't realize where, like, they see the food, but they don't realize how, like, all the hands that go into it. And there's so much more than just that potato or just that steak on your plate. And there are veterinarians, nutritionists, agronomists, soil health specialists, salespersons, communications persons. Like, there's so much involved in agriculture, and there really is something for everybody. And like, we believe, we're students and we're focused on the future, and we believe that the future is in farming and is in agriculture, because it's something that we will always need, and there is always a demand there, and right now that demand is growing. With weather patterns, or because the public is misinformed, farmers are finding it harder and harder to continue to do their jobs. So that's why we need our younger generation and more young, energized, passionate people to be involved in agriculture, because we have to keep meeting that demand, and we can do it safely and sustainably together.
So my name is Jillian Ferguson. I am 20 years old, and I'm from Spring Valley, Prince Edward Island. I'm in my third year of an environmental science degree at the Dalhousie Agricultural Campus in Toronto, Nova Scotia. And one thing I like to tell people is that although I did grow up on a farm, I'm certainly growing into agriculture and into farming, and I'm just kind of learning to love it as I go along. Yeah, no, it's definitely a different environment than if I had been going to any other school and taking the exact same program, because there's so many farm-focused young people in school with me and in my classes. For example, this semester I'm taking a weed science course, and most schools you wouldn't have a weed science course. That's not a normal course you would normally take. So no, I've definitely learned a lot through my courses. The future is a big question, and as a student, I get asked that a lot. I definitely see myself continuing in agriculture, obviously, but I really enjoy the agronomy side of it. I've been working for the past 2 years as an agronomy assistant at the PEI AgriMart, and I've really learned a lot about different crop inputs and really what it takes to grow a successful crop, and I definitely like to continue on with that kind of theme for my career as I look forward to my future. I would definitely think for a message. When I was starting my grade 12 year, I did not know what I wanted to do whatsoever. I didn't even have a program in mind that I wanted to take. I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian. I thought I wanted to be a physiotherapist. It was a really broad range. And before, I was actually enrolled in a physics class, and I decided on the first day of physics, you know what, I don't want to take physics anymore. And there was an elective for an animal science course, which was what we did the Gen Ag project through. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take that class and I'm going to try this out. And that was really what started my opportunity to really understand that this is what I want to go into, and I can really see a future for myself. So I would say for anybody that is in their final years of high school or even out of high school and just doesn't know what they want to do yet, take a risk and it'll pay off. I definitely think that between everybody on my campus, everybody is very focused on the future, and we want to keep pushing agriculture as far as we can to be more sustainable, more friendly, and to really just have everybody around us understand it. We know that we understand it very well. Our students today, whether you're in an agricultural campus situation like I am, or you are going to study something somewhere else to go into agriculture, we are the future of farming. Okay, if there was one message that I really want everybody to take away from this video, is that there is definitely an opportunity for everyone in agriculture. Myself and Carly, we never thought that we would be involved in agriculture. I never thought that there was a place for me in agriculture, and I didn't think that it was a business that I wanted to get into, or that would be as easy as it has been to get into. Farming is a very welcoming and open community. Farmers and producers and everybody who works with agriculture is always just one of the most amazing groups of people I have ever met and I have ever had the chance to work alongside and for. And that a career in agriculture, you know, PEI, we're full of agriculture. Farming is all small communities around the island and even larger communities around the island. And, you know, even if you don't think you have a place there, there's definitely a piece of the puzzle for you.